地的自然美景、人文风俗。首先，让我们和拉脱维亚小伙安哲一起去老子故里郭阳，探寻古老神秘的道家文化。
China is the oldest country on earth. For thousands of years, China's rulers believed that their duty is to maintain a balance between human society and the order of the universe. The emperors who can achieve this kind of harmony will receive the authorization of heaven and the protection of their ancestors. In 1900s, China was plunged into a catastrophe. Aggression, floods, and famine. The new century witnessed the rapid decline of the empire. Despite the continuous tragedy, in the 20th century, the Chinese people survived. Once China, which had once dominated the world civilization, has risen again.
My name is Andrei. I'm from Latvia, and I've been in China for 2 years before coming to Anhui province. All I knew about it was Huanchan and Chinese traditional medicine. But gradually, I found out that traditions and culture affect every aspect of people's life here.
It is a good time now to take a look at the events that shaped Chinese history and the ideas that have created Chinese culture. It is very distinctive, brilliant, and has a long history.
The essential part of Chinese culture is Tao. Tao has been influencing China for several thousand years and then gradually spread it all over the world.
In particular, I want to find out what kind of vitality Taoist culture has, and if it can be passed down to the present.
In order to find out more about this culture, I came here today to the hometown of Lao Tzu, the key person in this culture. On his birthday, I've heard there's thousands of people coming today. Let's go and see.
What is going on here is a traditional memorization of birth of Taoist founders in the traditional Lao Tzu temple fair. Lunar February 15 is the birth of Lao Tzu, and people gather here to cherish the memory of the great thinker, philosopher, and Taoist founder Lao Tzu.
So back in my home, we don't have this kind of big scale events with so many people coming. And even though I don't really understand everything that is happening here because of the language and I don't know so much history, I still feel that it's a long-term tradition. It's really 1,000 years old. It's really amazing. Just look at it.
Over the past 30 years, the Chinese has grown up in a consumer society. After the reform and opening up, China has marched forward into the future. But there is actually a deeper level of China. Because the new freedom is calling, people spontaneously go back to trace something that is most important to them in history. Sometimes the attraction of new things is not as expected, and the attraction of old things is far more lasting than people think.
和谐世界，以道相通。
The oldest religion in China is Taoism. Many aspects of Chinese culture are related to Taoism. These very old customs and beliefs are still loved and practiced by the Chinese today.
So if this is the birthplace of Lao Tzu and Tao, this is the best place to come and experience Chinese traditions in all of its range, from opera, dances, calligraphy. If you want to experience all that, you have to come to Guizhou. Take a look at this.
People here are like this country, seeking a new identity and advancing in a special Chinese way. All this is rooted in the past of China. This past can be traced back thousands of years ago. Traditional values will continue to flow in the long history of Great China. Although they are often tested and sometimes appear to fall apart, they have been inherited even after the cruelty of 20th century.
到那些山里面去的，我就确实找到了道教的 公馆道教的庙宇，我就住在一个道观里面，我看他们在做什么，他们在诵经，他们在举行仪式，平时他们要务农、做菜、种茶，就是做各方面的工作，而且就是把这个道这种东西作为一种很具体的生活方式和一种信仰方式表达出来。所以我当时就感到这个道教看起来还是一个很活跃的一个传统，它还是活生生的，还在中国是存在的。
In Guoyang, the hometown of Lao Tzu, pilgrims gathered again to express gratitude to their ancestors. The kind of prayer ceremony has appeared in the late Qin dynasty more than 100 years ago. Now this ceremony has returned to life for the Chinese people today. It was reborn with the words of the scriptures thousands of years ago. This is one of the symbols of China today. After the great destruction of the past, the Chinese once again viewed the history as a source of strength rather than a weakness, and believed in it. This idea once enabled them to acquire long-term racial identities, which are now passed down to the future of a more capable and more minded China, from generation to generation.
So it's a very magical place, and I strongly recommend you to visit it at least once in your life. It's very beautiful.